the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted, to grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess, your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up round some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down, make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little, used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yeah, what up? Shout out to my pops. Do this for you, man. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's late Monday night. Usually the show's done by now, but I had to do a delay. Had to take Kim out to an appointment. We went out to go pick out our new house, our dream home, if you will. Give me a second here. I don't know what happened to all of my setup. There it is. There we go. Just want to say thank you guys for being here. Yeah, so we went on an appointment to go pick out our house. We're building a house, and, you know, life's good for us right now, and it feels really good. But it cuts into some of our evenings. Went a little late, decided to go to Costco. And like anybody else going to Costco, the first thing Kim says to me before we walk in is hey, babe, I have a shopping list for Costco. I just wanted to pump gas. She goes, no, we got to go in there and get some water. So we got 2 cases of water and $300 worth of other shit. Like, it's just crazy. Because, you know, that's how it is at Costco. You just start seeing stuff you need, and you start throwing it in the cart. So, took us a little bit of time. Got home, wanted to unwind a little bit, and then we're starting this late show. So, thank you guys for being here. Unfortunately, I didn't do a show yesterday. Usually when I do a show on Sundays, it's for all the results. We discuss all the results. We talk about the teams. And now for this entire week, I'm going to do the results before I give my picks for the week. So I'll go over the results briefly, and then we'll move on from there. And then we'll talk about what's trending in sports, and then I'll take your guys' questions. I'll give you answers to the best of my ability, like always. If you're on TikTok, you're watching the show, come on over to YouTube. Come ask us a question. If you're on YouTube, the questions are ACC, Notre Dame, or Independence related, or Conference USA. Please keep the questions at those 3 conferences or those different demographics. Don't go anywhere else with it. Every single day has a different theme and a different team. I want to give a special shout out to all the MVPs. Worked hard for you guys this morning. Started early. A lot of you guys have interacted, asked questions. You guys are aware of injury reports, aware of certain weather ramifications, just all kinds of stuff. You guys are just on it, man. And collectively, together, we can have that open discussion, and it pays off. It really does well. You know, in one of my videos to the MVPs, I told them, hey, guys, we're hitting at 60%. All you got to do, it's not hard. All you got to do, instead of picking from the whole slate and guessing at which game's going to go and do all this, I give you a truncated list, a smaller list. And in that list, all you got to do is pick the right ones. I said, all you got to do is pick the right ones. And this guy in a comment, probably a brand new MVP, he wrote, what do you mean pick the right ones? That's your job. We pay you to pick the right ones. I said, no, man. I make a list. We know we're going to miss. We know some of them are going to miss. Pick the right ones. Shout out to some of the MVPs going 6-0 for the weekend. Some MVPs going 5-1, going 4-2, coming out multiple units ahead. Shout out to you guys. I had one MVP write me and said, I went 0-4. I'm pissed. It's like, bro, you didn't listen to the words I was saying. You didn't pick the right games. That's on you. You could go 0-4 by yourself, or you could go 0-4 with more information, but you're still an 0-4 kind of person. I can't help you. I can't do it for you. If you had a teacher and they would teach you the textbook, they would teach you all the information, they would teach you everything you needed to know about the test. And then when it came time to take the test, you would get these multiple choice questions. And some students just picked the wrong answers. Consistently pick the wrong answers. They listen to all the instruction from the teacher and they still get it wrong. Teacher says, hey, you're going to see this on the test. You're going to see this on the test. You're just not a good test taker. That's the reality of the situation. Some of you guys have all these morals and all these standards and all these things you want from a partner, and you still get on a dating app and you still pick the wrong partner. You can see her in a picture. You can see her and she says, independent woman, don't need a man. She starts writing all this shit. Right? My kids come first. You ain't shit, riffraff. I hate that phrase. My kids come first. I hate that. If I see my kids come first on a dating app, dating profile, just block that person. Block them. Ignore them. I don't care what they look like. If they say my kids come first, get rid of them. You got to think about that for a second. Who the hell are they debating? Who is that line for? Who are they directing that line to? Like, who the hell's debating them that kids come first? Who doesn't know your kids come first? Why is that even a discussion? Why is that a topic? Right? That's ridiculous. They're writing that because they associate with lower level people, and they have to tell the riffraff of this world, my kids come first. That should tell you the caliber of people they associate with, the caliber of people they share their body with, the caliber of people they break bread with. You don't even want any part of that. If the shit starts with my kids come first, that is just riffraff, straight off the street. Stay away from it. But you guys still pick the wrong ones. So to shout out to all those guys out there picking the wrong women in this world. Shout out to all the MVPs picking the wrong games, picking the wrong locks, picking the wrong winning, the wrong leans. I got dudes writing me DMs like crazy, and they say some outrageous shit. Hey, Rico, I really got a good feeling about this. They write, I got a good feeling about this. I have one guy, he has a good feeling about all his NFL picks. He doesn't even go against the spread. It's just money line. He sent me a whole list of NFL money line picks. Just trying to pick the winner. Not against the spread. Dude said, I'm putting $100 on every single one of these, and I'm gonna be winning at the end of the week. I said, okay, good luck. He went 4 for 8. He went 4 for 8. You can't do that if you try. You can't. Or at least I couldn't. Enough of that. Speaking of 4, Kareem Jackson, 4 games for illegal hits. Now, he's gonna appeal it. But if this stands, 4 games, give me a second. Show's brought to you by Dr. Pepper, by the way. They're not sponsoring me. Are you kidding me? Of course Dr. Pepper's not sponsoring me. It's a $30 billion company, and they make 2 college students duke it out throwing footballs at halftime for a $100,000 scholarship. They can't give both of those college kids $100,000. They got to pretend like there's only $100,000 to go around. There's only $100,000. We're a $30 billion company, but we're going to give out $100,000 to the winner. That company, oh my goodness, that make me sick. Anyways, Kareem Jackson, talk about $100,000. He's about to forfeit $550,000 in salary for 4 games of suspension. Insane, bro. For hits, illegal hits, unnecessary roughness, it's just part of the football game, man. Give him an extra 15 yards. It's the NFL. Give him 15 yards. I guarantee you, I go back and watch these hits. They're not all valid. They're not all a problem. I bet I like some of them. I bet some of them just look like football plays to me. We probably get harder during the Turkey Bowl at a park somewhere. This is baloney, bro. Baloney. All right, talking about some results. So independent results. Independent college football results. Obviously, Army's independent. They played LSU and got an independent ass whooping. LSU disrespected America, beating Army 62-0. Never let off the gas. Scored 14 points in the first quarter and did it in the fourth. Did not care. Army never got close. It's unreal. By the way, Army still had a 100-yard rusher. But LSU out there 62-0, that's mean. That's mean. That's un-American. That's as un-American as apple pie. Apple pie is not American either. And then we got South Florida beating UConn. I'll just tell you guys this. UConn as a team has a losing culture and finds a way to lose that game. South Florida, what an incredible job. What an incredible job. Alex Golish, the new head coach, former offensive coordinator from Tennessee, working magic. Byron Brown is must-see TV. Shout out to Brown Stevens, the transfer wide receiver from Minnesota. Is he from Minnesota? Look at this. I'm quizzing myself right now. Is he from Minnesota? Did he play at Minnesota? We're going to find out. What do you know? Transfer from Minnesota. It's like I know everyone. It's like I know everyone. The transfer from Minnesota did it big, and so did your boy NyQuil Wright. Now, NyQuil Wright, he's a Florida transfer, former 4-star running back, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is just good stuff. Now, they should have won this game by more points, but still, South Florida beats UConn. I'm impressed. I love it. UConn finding a way to lose. Good for them. Other results, Conference USA results. We saw Liberty beat Middle Tennessee. It wasn't this close. Tennessee was for me, they were just kind of outgunned and outmatched. I saw Liberty out there running the ball like crazy. Salters went for 140. Who else was it? I know C.J. Daniels had the go-ahead touchdown, but there was man, what I always Cooley. It just hit me right now. Cooley, the transfer from Wake Forest, doing great, running the ball. They're very dominant on the ground. And then Jacksonville State finds a way to beat Western Kentucky. Good for them. They're now 6-2, getting ready. They can't go to a bowl game this year. They're not eligible. But my goodness, 6 wins in your first season in the FBS. Congratulations. Liberty's still 7-0. And talk about Middle Tennessee State falling from like grace. Middle Tennessee State won 7 games last year. Went to a bowl game. And here they are, 2-6. Season's over, essentially. And what a sad case. FIU, somehow they're 4-4. They beat Sam Houston. Sam Houston finds a way to lose again. Embarrassing because FIU can't do anything on offense. Yet they still put up 33 points. It was in overtime. It's crazy. Shout out to Sam Houston for not getting it done. I'm like, why is there showing me Shoemaker? Oh, that's right. That's not UTEP. My bad. New Mexico State did exactly what we expected. UTEP couldn't do a thing. Hankins still got 120 yards, but New Mexico State dominating UTEP. And more importantly, New Mexico State won the MVPs a ton of money. But, right, because we get these games right. But more importantly than that, Eli Stowers getting discovered. Eli Stowers is a transfer. He was a quarterback at A&M last year. 5th string quarterback. Couldn't win the quarterback battle. Never really had a shot. Decides to leave A&M. Transfers to his father's alma mater. This is a kid. He's tall as hell. Athletic. He loses the quarterback battle to Diego Paiva. We get it. Diego's a beast of a player. Just gritty and tough. Diego's a team leader and a captain. So Stowers got to see the field somehow. Moves over to tight end / wide receiver, whatever you want to call it. And that's why it says quarterback right there. This young man out there catching everything. Looks good. And I think that's their new X factor. Their added weapon. And Vegas just doesn't care about them. And then we go to the ACC results. Florida State. I said Duke's defense is going to be strong and good. Unfortunately, Riley Leonard could not get it done. But Duke's defense was competitive and in this game for a long time. Then they broke at the end. There were 21 points in the fourth quarter. But my goodness. Duke had the lead for the whole game. And they just blew it, you know. It was a lot closer than the score indicates. Virginia beating North Carolina. I'm starting to think Virginia's a lot better than we think. If you go back and look at Virginia, they've been trying to figure themselves out and discover themselves. Something about this game, Tony Muskett was the quarterback for Virginia. A little more senior. He's a transfer from the FCS. Not playing the freshman. Not playing Anthony Colanderia. He's the one who throws the ball and turns it over. This is an efficient passer. Gets it done. They gave a lot of guys carries. If you don't know, Kobe Pace is a transfer from Clemson. They gave a lot of guys carries, though, and just getting 3-4 yards and a cloud of dust. Just keep the other team off the field. Malik Jackson, the transfer from Northwestern, the go-to receiver, always open. Sackett Wood Jr. getting some big plays, but right here, Malik Jackson always open. He's a grown man, so he can do what he needs to do. What I think is impressive is only one interception, right? Drake May with the one interception, no fumbles, ton of yards, and they still couldn't get the win. It was a bend, don't break defense. Omarion Hampton still got 100 yards. You look over here, Devontae Walker has taken on that role of being the star receiver like he has at practice. Yeah, they're doing it in games. The one guy I wish they got more involved in this game was Nate McCollum. He's their slot receiver. Some games he dominates, and then some games he absolutely disappears. That's what you see here. But unfortunately for these guys, they couldn't get it done. That's the reality of the situation. They could not get it done. Same amount of punts. Teams just out there just scrapping. But Virginia, man, look at Virginia. When you try to assess them, yeah, they got beat by Tennessee. But they are 1 point away from beating a JMU team. They probably should have won that game. This is an undefeated James Madison team. Now they lose to Maryland, we get it. But a 3-point loss to NC State, 3-point loss to Boston College, who's now looking respectable, and then win-win. Like, these could have all been wins. They could be on a 4-game win streak right now. They could have had 5 wins. Right? They're just away from, so they're very competitive in their losses, which is important. You want to be competitive in your losses. But when you look at what they got left, that looks like a winnable game against Georgia Tech. That looks like a winnable game against Virginia Tech. Right? So a 4-win season for Virginia, and some people were saying they were the worst Power 5 team in America. They're not the worst Power 5 team in America. They're actually respectable. They look pretty damn decent. Could have went bowling if they figured out how to beat NC State and Boston College. But my goodness, man. Virginia's not that bad. Tony Muskett putting it together 2 weeks in a row now. Tony Muskett's played pretty damn good. Boston College. They look to be fine. You know, they have a new superstar. It's Thomas Castellanos. He can do whatever he wants to do. Bond's their only receiver. Shout out to Robichaux, the running back. Boston College, for me, surprised the hell out of me. These 21 points in the fourth quarter, that just, what happened? Georgia Tech, the wheels fell off, bro. You were winning this game. 23-17, you're winning this game. And then just boom, boom, boom. I like Haynes King, man. He's running around too much. Georgia Tech shouldn't be like this, but they are. Wake Forest beating Pitt. What a laughable game. Pitt just beat Louisville last week, and then they come out here and look exactly like I expected them to against Wake Forest. Like against Pitt, I wanted to see this. Or against Louisville, I wanted to see this. And they didn't do it. They came out here. Wake Forest wins with a backup quarterback. If you guys don't know, Griffiths has been their quarterback all year. Then some guy, Santino Mauricio, you guys already know. I know everybody. If I don't know you, I never heard of you. This guy coming off the bench, who is he? Let's click on him and learn about him right now together. Sophomore, Jacksonville, Florida. Look at this mustache, bro. You can't lose to a guy with this mustache. Why don't you know about him, Rico? Because he's never thrown a pass in college. Ever. First time he's ever played was right here, that first game. I've never seen this young man. That's wild. Where was he in 2022? He was injured. He didn't play. Maybe academically ineligible. I don't know. I got to come up with a narrative. Let's make it up. You ever been people watching? You ever been out there at the mall or in public, people watching, you're just sitting there just watching? And you start making up narratives like, oh, man, she cheated on him. That's what they're arguing. See the two of them walking? Yeah, well, they're mad at them. I could just make up a story about this dude. I don't have a clue. Let me interrupt the show real quick. Shout out to Alan Morris for becoming an MVP. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the team. Thank you very much. But, yeah, we got Wake Forest beating Pitt. What a joke, bro. What a joke. Shout out to Pitt. Gross-ass team, guys. Pitt is not good. And it wasn't this close, man. It wasn't. This is crazy. I say it wasn't this close. Wake Forest scored in the last second, but for me, I think Pitt's just an embarrassing team. And then Miami beating Clemson. Can we stop giving Clemson votes in the top 25 poll? Huh, coaches? AP writers? Dick Wright, whoever you guys are, giving Clemson votes in the AP top 25 was absolutely ridiculous. All you guys voting for Clemson have the nerve to not vote for Miami after they beat them. Miami should be in the top 25. Clemson was getting votes. They were in people's brackets. Why? Well, they passed the eyeball test. Well, they're Clemson. They're perennial power. Yeah? Look at that perennial power bullshit. 17 points. I'm glad they got a new offensive coordinator. And that I told all of you would be a flop. I told everybody when Riley got hired, I'll go find the video. I'll go find the live stream and the video when I said, oh, I'm not impressed with this hire. This Riley guy, I'm not impressed with this hire. I told everybody. He's got a track record I don't believe in. I told Tyler Budge the same thing, CF Budge. People don't listen to me. Clemson, not it. Shout out to Miami for figuring out a way to win with a backup quarterback. Backups, bro. Backups beating starters. It's just gross. So, let's look at the matchups this week. We got UMass at Army, the pillow fight of all pillow fights. I believe Army's favored. They're at home. UMass hasn't won a game this year. Wait, did they win one? They beat New Mexico State to start the season? Am I talking crazy? Yeah, they beat New Mexico State to start the season, and then they never won again. These dudes peaked in elementary school, bro. They peaked too soon. Like some of you guys, you just bust and it's over. You guys are little snippets. There's a whole fucking movie to go. You guys bust and it's over. I'm going to start calling you guys Minutemen. Shout out to UMass. UConn at Boston College. That's an MVP lock. I can't talk about it. Pitt at Notre Dame. MVP lock. Won't talk about it. Thank you for asking. New Mexico State at La Tech. Lock, lock, lock. Anything during the week is a lock, essentially. All these are locks. They're all for the MVPs. I broke them down. Gave the MVPs my slants on these things. How I feel about them. What to bet. If you want to know what to bet on these games, get your MVP package on. ACC. Syracuse, Virginia Tech, because it's a weekday, it's a lock. Florida State, Wake Forest, it's a lock. UConn, Boston College, it's a lock. And then we got Clemson at NC State. Now, everybody says Clemson's supposed to win this game. I believe they will. I don't know what the spread is, but Clemson will win. Clemson will go back over there and win. That doesn't mean anything to me, but they'll win. Pittsburgh and Notre Dame, it's a lock. And then we got Duke and Louisville. This is not a lock. This is a straight-up coin flip. Who do you think's better? Duke's secondary is the real deal. Their team speed is everywhere. but their quarterback situation, Riley Leonard's hurt. He's not 100%. And Louisville, without their starting running back, isn't quite the same team. Right? Jahar Jordan's hurt. They got Isaac Garindo out there playing running back. They still have Jamari Thrash. They still have Keon Coleman. Not Keon Coleman. Whoa. Kevin Coleman Jr. They still have really good players, but they still got Jack Plummer too. I think Duke can win this game. I think Duke can beat Louisville. I think Duke is probably the second best ACC team, and no one realizes it, but I do. I think Duke is the second best ACC team, and I think they can beat Louisville on the road. I think it's worth a money line. It's not a lock. It's not there for my MVPs, but I think it's the value in itself. I think Duke can beat Louisville. Virginia at Miami. Watch Virginia put up a game here. I don't know what the spread is, but watch Virginia put up a game. And then you guys are going to be like, oh, Rico was right. Now, I say that. Nah. Miami's secondary is the best thing about that team. Okay? So Cam Kitchens is the best safety in America. Miami's secondary is the best thing about them. And you can't move the ball. If you're Virginia, the only way they can move the ball is their secondary. Maybe they're going to try that recipe. 3 yards in a cloud of dust over and over and over. But Miami's going to be efficient. I just think Virginia gives it a game. I don't care. Let me take that. I think Virginia gives it a game. See how torn I am? And then North Carolina, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech doesn't look good. North Carolina looks to have the better team. But like I said, North Carolina, for me in the preseason, this is the preseason, I said North Carolina wasn't going to be good. I said North Carolina missing their entire secondary, losing all their receiver weapons, having no semblance of a run game. I don't think, and losing their offensive coordinator, I don't think North Carolina is going to be any good this year. And then everybody goes, hey, you're wrong. You're wrong. They're undefeated. Well, now they just lost to Virginia, a historically bad loss. And do the wheels fall off and I get proven right? Maybe I'm right and we had to just wait a little longer. Because I said North Carolina's going to be bad this year. We'll see. Maybe they keep winning. So those are all the matchups. I pulled some of these out just to show you guys the matchups and how it goes. But it really doesn't matter. I like Clemson to win this game. Oh, there's the spread. 10 points. Here's the thing. They couldn't beat Wake Forest by 10. How the hell are they going to beat NC State by 10? I know NC State's struggling with MJ Morris. But he had a bye week to get himself together. And now he's back again. Now he can play. Do better this next time around. MJ Morris is a young quarterback. Just took over the starting job. Still learning the ropes. I don't know. NC State's got a good defense. Not a great offense, but a good defense. And Clemson's not great anywhere. And then we got Duke. Who's the favorite? Louisville by 4? Yeah, I take Duke. I take Duke plus 4. I just got to do it. Yep. I take Duke plus 4. I like it. Call it what you want. See how NC State held them to 13 points? It's because they have a really good defense. Let's go. Give me Duke. Miami and Virginia, it's 18.5 points. I see Virginia scoring, guys. Virginia scores. They scored against a really good defense at NC State. Virginia's going to score. Miami's defense gives up some points. Yeah, they look dominant against Temple and Bethune-Cookman. If you watch that game, Bethune-Cookman was gross. And Temple's not good. Then look, they haven't dominated anybody. They lost 2, and then they won. Like, there's no dominant here. They're going to win by 10, by 18.5. Give me Virginia to cover the spread. Give me Virginia to cover the spread. MVPs, be aware. It's not on your lock list. But believe in it, bro. Believe in it. This is a very difficult week for picking games. Very difficult. It's going to be rough. We got to be courageous. Georgia Tech, North Carolina. They give me North Carolina 11.5. I like it. I think they're going to come out with a vengeance. Want to go back and prove themselves. 11.5 makes sense. Don't get it twisted. Georgia Tech can score. But they lost to Bowling Green, bro. They lost to Bowling Green. I believe it'll be a 48-23 type matchup. 48-23 type matchup. All right, now we're on to your guys' questions. Thank you guys for being here. Reminder, if you're watching me on TikTok and you got questions, all you need to do is go in here, join us on YouTube, search Rico Knows. Go up here. Maybe there's a link in here, maybe not. Go to YouTube, search Rico Knows. Join the live stream. Come ask me a question. I answer it. I don't look here during the show, though. I get paid over here. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to it, guys. I hope you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that join button. If you don't see it, use the browser version of YouTube, not the app. If you're using the iPhone and the app, you won't see the join button. You got to use the browser. Willie Bobo says, what's up? I need those picks, yo. All MVPs got the picks this morning. I made a video for them, put it out. Congratulations. Hopefully they picked the right games. Mike Schmidt says, you already know what it is, Rico, in the house. How we feeling about Drake May after somehow losing to the worst team in Power 5? Well, Drake May played good. He played fair. He played well enough. Drake May doesn't play defense. Drake May's not a coach. He played well. I think Drake May might be the best college quarterback in America. I think Drake May might be the guy I would want to draft. I got to go back and watch the film. I got to go back and study. But if you ask me right now, knee-jerk, best quarterback in America, pro-ready, Drake May. Drake May, Drake May. Also, do you think Duke made a mistake by playing Riley Leonard? He looked hurt all game. Mike Schmidt, he was hurt all game, but it's obvious the coaches know he's a better option than Bellin, and they had nobody else. They were against a daunting task. It was a monumental task, and they needed Riley Leonard to be 110%, right? They needed him to be 100% and then have an extra 10% he didn't know he had. That's what they needed. Dom says, does Boston College cover 12.5 against UConn? Dom, that is an MVP level lock. I'm not talking about it on here, but thank you for the question. And thanks for being here. Byron Hale says, yo, what's up, Rico? Let's have another good week. Let's do it, man. I had a great week. I hope all of you had a great week. Brian Yu, he's been an MVP over a month. You see the black badge. He says, this might be a rough week. Don't let it be a rough week. Pick your games wisely. We're going to win during the week. Saturday might be rough, but choose wisely. It's very difficult. Boston College ain't winning. If you didn't know, Colin Bolin is a UConn homer. He's the only UConn fan I've ever met in my life, UConn football fan. And he's serious. He thinks UConn's winning the game. More power to him. They won last year. They won 13-3. They beat Boston College last year, so it could happen. Dom says, Pitt is covering 20.5. I feel like they do, since that is a lot. Yeah, Pitt covering against Notre Dame, 20.5. That's 3 touchdowns. It's 21, right? So he's saying Pitt's within 3 touchdowns of Notre Dame. That's a great prediction. Shout out to you, Dom. Good luck. Kavion, what up, Kavion? Kavion says, what up, big dog? Nothing much, man. My weight is up. I ate a big dinner. My weight is up. Jason Jannings. Rico, I seen your brother earlier today. I didn't know you had a twin. Had a twin. I have a twin for the last 40 years. For almost 41 years, I have had a twin. Shout out to him. Kavion says, shout out, baby girl, and my wife. Word. Shout out to your wife. I don't know your wife's name, but shout out to your wife. There was another person I was supposed to give a shout out to. Somebody sent a tip. Somebody sent a tip on Cash App. We get tips on Cash App. Shout out to the MVPs who tip us out on Cash App. We appreciate you. Why do non-MVPs think it's okay to ask for your locks? Andrew. The TikTok community is very toxic. And what you got to understand is the TikTok community, from my understanding and from what I can see in my demographics and analytics, is extremely young. We're talking anybody with a cell phone, 14 to 20 years old. Many of them can't even gamble to begin with. Many of them have no concept or idea of what content creation is. And they will ridicule, be extremely toxic. They think it's funny. They call it trolling. They're extremely negative in nature, and some of those individuals transition over to YouTube and ask these types of questions. It's pretty simple. If you're an adult, a functioning adult, and you can afford to pay the $25 a month, which is $5 a week, essentially, and a $5 tip, if you can do that, then you see it from a different perspective, right? I've got people saying, you better get these locks right. You don't know what you're talking about, all this stuff. There's not a real MVP out there who talks like this. The MVPs are from a different mindset and a different perspective. They're like, hey, Rico, I gamble. I do an absorbent amount of research on my own. I would like to combine your knowledge with my knowledge, and let's win. And those are the most successful MVPs that I see, are the gentlemen who put in the time and the effort to know the teams, know the matchups, and then sit there and go, oh, wait, Rico said this. And they add that to them, right? I'm just the cheese, bro. I'm just the cheese. The food is great by itself. You need to add something to it. Add some cheese. Cheese makes everything better. Call it ranch. I don't care what it is. That's what I am. So some of these kids come in here and they're asking for free cheese. They're used to having access to cheese that they can put on anything. They're used to having everything at their fingertips. They're just children, man. That's all it is. And that's why we separate the two. Somebody said to me, hey, Rico, I can see why. It was a comment I just read today. He said, I can see why you've transitioned to YouTube more. I'm telling you guys, I'm transitioning to YouTube. The pay is quadruple that of TikTok. That's number one. The stress or lack of stress is infinite, right? On TikTok, I have to spam videos 10 at a time every single day. And with the amount of videos I post, the amount of negativity from the kids is overwhelming. You can't even sift through it to find out anything, positive to talk about. All you get is Rico doesn't know, my friends know, but Rico doesn't know. You just get a bunch of, haha, I know you are, but what am I? It's just a bunch of little kids that are being bullied in real life, and they get to get on their phone and feel good about themselves for the 5 seconds. It's a dopamine hit for them. Remember, they go through life struggling. These are kids who got to walk home different ways because they can't go past that bully. Or they don't even have to deal with it. They don't even understand that survival instinct. They don't understand the art of self-preservation. They never had to do it. There's no type of censorship in their life, right? Like when you were a kid growing up, you didn't talk out of turn because somebody would punch you in the mouth. Now they can talk out of turn all day long. No one's going to punch them in the mouth. So they get more emboldened. And they do these things. And it's unfortunate. Because you can be an adult trying to create content and have your brand. And you're just going to get bombarded with children. I get paid for it. But it doesn't make my day any better. I don't give a shit. That's why I don't talk to them, look at them, nothing. I'm here with YouTube. It's just so much more mature. So much more informed. So much more authentic. Like I can post a video on TikTok and it will become argumentative. And the comments will go and argue back and forth. It's just childish. And if I post that same video on YouTube, just positive in nature. Just adults. I can tell adults with desktops typing answers and typing comments, not with their phone and their Twitter fingers going like this. It's people on computers. So it's just a different demographic all the way around. And what a great feeling. And I could just do YouTube full time and feel just fine. I just got 1 million views on YouTube. 1 million views in the last month. It took me 12 years to get 1 million, and now I just got 1 million in the last month. That's a true story. So we're getting there. We're way up, and it feels beautiful. So you'll see it in here from time to time, Andrew. Don't let it bother you, man. Terrence Thomas says, what's up, everybody? What's up, y'all? Hit the like button. Yeah, please hit the like button if you're here. What's up, everyone? Awesome. So happy for you both. Thank you, Steph. We're trying. We went and saw it. Hey, I got sand on my shoes, but that ain't dirt. That's just sand from the pyramids, right? It's just I'm out here sightseeing. We're out here climbing, going to the top. I picked a lot today. I picked my lot where I wanted it to be in the neighborhood. I picked a corner lot. I always wanted a corner lot. I think if you get more yard, less neighbors, and it's just a huge home. It's just going to be a big, beautiful place for Ash to play. So I picked the corner yacht. I'm good. Is Chadwell a candidate for moving into the Power 4, or is he at his peak level of coaching? Definitely not at his peak level of coaching. He's talking about Jamie Chadwell, the Liberty coach. He is not a candidate for Power 4 at all, Sultan Aswat. Remember, the candidates for Power 4 head coaching positions are from offensive and defensive coordinators in the Power 4. It's a good old boy network. They're looking to hire other coordinators within their good old boy network. The Power 4 is its own entity. The group of 5 is out here, and those guys typically get left out by the wide margin. Now, there'll be 20 new hires, and 4 of them will be from the group of 5. Reality. Everybody else will have prior Power 5 experience. Everybody else. So, no, Jamie Chadwell's ceiling. That dude should be coaching at North Carolina. Mac Brown should retire, and Jamie Chadwell should be coaching at North Carolina. I'm sick of y'all ungrateful MVPs. Us MVPs are prideful people, and you're a disgrace to our name. Okay, so Mike Schmidt is not an MVP. He's just talking ridiculous. But let me tell you guys something. Excuse me, my nose is running. There was a gentleman, he wrote a comment, and he said, hey, we got to give Rico his flowers. One of my calls last week on the MVP list was Nevada to money line or cover the spread against San Diego State. And I felt that way because I've been talking about Nevada for 3 weeks now. I've been telling you guys, I think Nevada's got a better offense than we give them credit for. I know they hadn't won a game. And I didn't care. Like, I knew they were playing San Diego State. I was like, it's fine. Give me Nevada. They're underdogs by 14, Rico. I don't care. 14.5. I don't care. I like Nevada. I know what I see on tape. And I put it on the lock list, and I just put plus 14.5. Give me Nevada. And Nevada won the game 6-0 over San Diego State. That might not mean much to you guys. But what you got to understand is Nevada, for the second time this year, I picked them to cover the spread, and they did it. They won their first game of the season. And, guys, they were on a 16-game losing streak. Last season, they won the first 2 games of the season, and then they lost 10 in a row, fired their coach. And they started this season 0-6. They were on a 16-game losing streak, and I still believed in them. And that man, one of those MVPs, he said, Rico, man, I don't know how you did that one. I got to give you so much credit. That's the real deal. And it feels good because I can't just afford to guess. People are betting money on my guesses, right? So I got to be informed and accurate. And that was the last game of the night. That one and the UCLA one. We hit 3 locks out of the last 5 games. We hit 3 of them really, really good. Obviously, I was sitting there, Ole Miss beating Auburn by more than 7 points, and then UCLA smashing Stanford, and then Nevada beating San Diego State. I was hoping MVPs were still awake and still betting. I was hoping they didn't skip those last 3. And for any MVP that quit early and just got upset because he missed, well, you went to bed and you didn't pick the right games because there were 3 games at the end of the night we got right, and we ended so strong. So shout out to me for getting it right. Shout out to me for believing in myself. Shout out to me for putting people in position to succeed, and I hope they do. And I hope they did. So, yeah, they're not ungrateful. Where do you think the blame for Clemson's struggles this year should be pointed at? Cade Klubnik, Garrett Riley, Dabo Swinney, or is it a little bit of everyone? Evan Kramer, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You could have listed anybody, and I would have just said yes. It's a shared problem, but it's more indicative of the fact that Dabo Swinney can't sustain his level of success when losing coordinators. The one thing that makes Nick Saban so great, and maybe Kirby Smart, is when you lose a coordinator, a successful coordinator, to a head coaching position somewhere else, and you don't have a drop-off. You don't fall off. You don't lose. Dabo lost Tony Elliott. He's now the head coach of Virginia. All right. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, what are we going to do? Like Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher lost Mike Elko. Lost Elko to Duke. He's now the Duke head coach. This was your defensive coordinator. And now all of a sudden Texas A&M is not as dominant as they used to be. It's when you lose a coordinator who was successful and you can't fall off. Georgia losing Monken, replacing him with Mike Bobo, and they're not falling off right now. That's an indication of an elite level coach. It's what I'm worried about with, Coach Prime or some of these other guys. You can have a good year, but what happens when you lose those coordinators and you don't replace them with something that's tangible or good? That's the biggest issue. That's why Clemson's struggling. Black Money says, Rico, my G, BC football on the rise. Well, they better. Halfley's about to get fired, so they better keep winning. I pick the wrong ones all the time, but when I pick the right ones and win, I win big. Look at Salt and the SWAT. Salt and the SWAT's letting you know he picks the wrong ones all the time. He ain't blaming me. Shout out to that young man. Appreciate you, brother. Louise Henson's laughing. Losing close to 600,000. Yeah, for late hits. It's nuts. Dabo is going to be fired in 2 years. Sorry, Clemson fans, but they're back to the Clemson of old before Watson, consistently letting people down in big games. They're letting people down in not big games. They let somebody down in a matchup with Duke and Miami. Those aren't big games. Those should be run-of-the-mill games for them. This is their first time not winning the conference in 9 years. It's not that they're back to the Clemson of old. They just haven't won the conference for the first time in 9 years. They still have Cade Klubnik. He's not leaving. He'll be there next year. Can you develop your quarterback? Can you implement an offense that's successful? And you got to hit the portal to address your recruiting misses, because there are recruiting misses. Who would you like to see take over for Dabo? Pick somebody, bro. Pick somebody. I like Army this week covering -10 against UMass. There you go, Dom. Also, you see either JMU and or South Florida in the Power 5. No. No, being in the Power 5 requires TV appeal. South Florida should have been. They have enough enrollment. They should have done it years ago, but they had a little setback. It's fine. MVP's winning big tomorrow. I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve right now. There you go, Mike Schmidt. Mike, you will end up losing all that money by betting on UTEP. Love UTEP this week. There we go. That's risky, says Brian. Always is with those teams. Sorry to keep spamming questions, but what schools next do you think will and should make the jump to Power 5? Black Muns, I try not to guess at this stuff. I report the results. I don't make a lot of content where I'm guessing at what's happening next when it comes to realignment. I think the next step is the Power 5 conferences, as big as they are, come 4 or 5 years from now, I think they realign and reduce the number of teams they have. I think the Big Ten drops teams like Indiana, Rutgers, teams that aren't winning or pulling their weight in basketball, football, baseball, all the sports, and aren't bringing in revenue to the conference. They're just a hindrance. Like the conferences all got big, and then they're going to cut them and go down to the elite money makers in each conference. That's what I think the future is. And then whoever's left over is going to have to make a conference of themselves. That's how I see it. Almost like Premier League. This is off topic, but I'm interviewing a player you're familiar with, and his name is Ishmael Mahdi. Louisville fan here. If you by chance, Louisville is without Jahar Jordan. Yep. Does the Duke game become closer, but still with the Louisville win? Keys for Louisville coming off the bye week and a loss. Unfortunately, that's the keys for Louisville to beat what might be a drained Duke team. Yeah, we're just assuming Duke's drained. Congratulations for interviewing Ishmael Mahdi. I'm very familiar with him. I've talked to him before. He sent me DMs on TikTok. I've made videos about him. I've done a highlight video on him. As far as Louisville goes, I already told you, I think Duke's going to win that game or at least cover the spread. I like Duke's matchup with Louisville. I think personnel-wise, Duke matches up really well with them. And Louisville is just not efficient on offense. Jack Plummer just has a lot of wasted series. But maybe Louisville proves me wrong and beats Duke. I just don't see it. College Game Day is thinking about going to UMass Army this weekend. Sure hope they do. No, they already announced they're going to where the hell were they going? They already made their announcement. Where the hell were they going? I forget. It's not JMU. Some shit. I don't care. I don't watch them. Andres says, what up, Rico? Hope you're having a good Monday. Let's have a great week. Yeah, let's do it. I didn't come here to get judged because I'm a minute man. She says it's good. There you go, Salt and SWAT. 1, 5, 10, it don't matter. Does Notre Dame have the resources to return to a top-tier program? I don't care what anyone says. They haven't been in a long time. Yeah, Mike Schmidt, the resources has never been the issue. The issue is just evaluating talent properly. Stop letting websites tell you that you got 5-star players just because you're Notre Dame. There are players that are elevated in the recruiting process because they're committed to Notre Dame, and they're not very good players. Like, the recruiting stars are wrong. So Notre Dame has a bunch of guys that you think are 4- and 5-star players, but they're just not. And when they get out there on the field, they perform to the caliber that they are. But because they're Notre Dame, their recruits get elevated a little higher. That's the reality. Harsh reality. They need a new offensive coordinator, of course. Kevin Coleman is the best wide receiver in the ACC. Did 13 other receivers die? Miami's minus 18. Yeah, I went and found it. Thank you. Kevin Coleman isn't even the best wide receiver on his own team. Correct. Duke winning with the backup. That's bold. There you go, Dom. Duke plus 4.5. Interesting opinion. Respect. Kevin Coleman MVP. Miami struggles to get 18 points. And don't they got a backup quarterback playing? They do. Do we have a schedule of games we are watching this week? Yeah, Assault and SWAT. Well, we're watching all the games during the weekday. I'll be posting all of the watch party thumbnails tomorrow. I'll be doing all the thumbnails for the week, including the live streams and the watch parties, so you guys will know when things start. You can schedule yourselves. Hit that like button. Thank you, Kim. When's the Georgia high school football recap coming? Jacques, unfortunately, I was busy today. I was going to do it today, but I was busy, so I'll probably do it tomorrow. It takes me about 2 hours to do it, so give me some time. I got to go watch all the film, catch up a bunch of teams, look at some matchups, some results. It's not like I just wing it. I got to go do a ton of research before I make that video. Identify the games I want to talk about, the teams I want to talk about. So it's never an easy video to pump out. Just heads up. Rico, let's have a good week. Excited for the slate of games this week. Yeah, Derek Newcomer, I'm trying, man. I appreciate all you MVPs that come to the live streams every day. You guys got to know this. I have 1,500 MVPs. I see the same 50 every single week. It makes me wonder who all these other guys are. Because I see the same 50 dedicated, here every day, checking in, being a part of the community. But we got another 1,500 MVPs that I don't even know. Some of my videos don't even have 1,500 views. Some of the MVP videos don't even have 1,500 views. Who's not watching them? Who paid for MVP and is not watching? It's weird. Shout out to you guys for always being here, though. Bobby Albright says, shout out to Rico and Kim for the Marco's Pizza suggestion. It was so fire. Dude, did we not tell you guys? We told you guys. Marco's Pizza, the Magnifico sensation. Some shit is the best pizza I've had in my life. Magnifico something. It's a meat lovers, but it's kind of spicy. It's got a little kick to it. I'm Mexican, dude. I'm cool. But I'm letting you know it was real. It's real. I'm so glad we got Bobby Albright on that. Shout out to him. Oh, speaking of shout outs, Donovan Harris. That's who it is. Donovan Harris. Usually when he's on here on YouTube, he's got a picture of his wife in his profile pic. Donovan Harris gets the shout out. Shout out to him. What up, Paguno? Paguno's the GOAT. All those kids paid by Theo. No, they don't even get paid, dude. They do that shit for free, bro. It's cancel culture, and it's gross. It's a bunch of little kids. Acne. You know what I used to tell those kids? Stridex, bro. Get a pad of Stridex. Go. Get a pad of Stridex and get away from me. You get nervous around pussy. Stop bashing other creators just as corny. Yeah, I don't know any other creators. I don't even watch other creators. Stop. Good afternoon, Rico. That's all TikTok is, people beefing with each other. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Nevada could potentially go bowling. No. Vegetables is already having more success than Dabo. Okay. What's your Virginia Tech versus Syracuse Thursday night prediction? J.R. Knight. That is an MVP level lock. I only talk about it with MVPs. Mike Elko to replace Dabo. Yeah, I think Mike Elko is actually going to get the job at Texas A&M, personally. So I don't think he's going to take Dabo's spot. I think A&M fires Jimbo and hires him. They should. Or they can go get Petrino. He's already on the staff. Thomas Castellanos been quietly having some good games. Not quiet at all. Loud as hell. Got my Eagles rolling 3 in a row. I need that TikTok video on him. Been asking for a while. Shine the light on him. He's special. No meter green. I have made half a dozen videos on Thomas Castellanos. Stop watching my videos from your For You page. You guys got to know how TikTok works. I make 10 videos a day. TikTok will send 2 of them to your For You page. You will miss all my content if you watch me through your For You page. You'll miss all of it. You have to watch my videos by coming to the channel and watching the videos. Or you got to use the playlist. The only thing, the easiest thing you can probably do is put it on following up top. You know how when you're looking through your TikToks, if you go to following and then reduce the number of people you follow, then you'll see more of my videos. But if you're just going For You page and just swiping and watching shit on For You page, you'll never see my content. So you in here asking me for a Thomas Castellanos video is ridiculous. I've made 6 of them. Easily. You just go, I don't even know how they're all sorted. I'm going to do some magic right now and show you. You come in here and you go hashtag. Let's go
because
Boston.
His head got cut off. This is Heisman Trophy winner.
One
Taylor
second.
Wood. And just last week on my podcast show.
Sorry, it was auto-playing. Look, if I just did a search, hashtag Boston College. Let me make sure you guys can see this. I did a search, hashtag Boston College, hashtag Rico Knows. Right? So we got a bunch of Boston College stuff in here. But here I talk about their transfer portal. Talk about more transfer portal. Who's this? It's a wide receiver. That's going to be Trey Flowers. Boston College beating FSU. You think I didn't talk about, or FSU beating Boston College? You don't think I talked about Thomas Castellanos in this? Here's where I talk about Jalen Gill leaving the school. My top transfer players for week 3, who do you think's in here? If I'm talking about top transfer players, Thomas Castellanos. Transfer portal update, pretty sure it's going to be Thomas Castellanos in here. You can do this all day. You can just find me talking about certain players if you know what I'm doing. You got to just look the right way. People don't understand. Colorado and its movement. If you don't want to go Boston College, go BC. See what comes up. Oh, it made it Boston College. Hashtag BC. Hashtag Rico Knows. All you got to do is Rico Knows and hashtag anything. Oh, some of this stuff is. This ain't all of it. This is something else. Oh, because it's got 2 letters BC in there. That's not a good one. You want to write out Boston College. My point is you'll find all the videos. You'll find them if you want to find them. Search hashtag whatever topic you want to do, and then do hashtag Rico Knows. That's how you do it. Rico, the next head coach for Clemson, calling it now. Oh, me? I'm not trying to be the head coach of Clemson. That sounds like a tough job. I know it's ACC night, but other examples of losing an offense and defensive coordinator, the team falling off, is Tennessee losing Golish. The offense has fallen off greatly, but Milton sucks too. Yeah, no. Milton sucks because he's Milton, right? He sucks. I told everybody that in the offseason. But that's a prime example. That's a real example. So, yep. No, Deborah. I don't know what Deborah said, but somebody said no. Watching Utah on Saturday showed me that Coach Prime already deserves a spot in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's forcing other colleges to unleash the two-way talent they've been sleeping on. Thomas Williams, not necessarily. It was an injury thing, and Utah has already used many of their players for two-way talent. All right, so 2 years ago in the Rose Bowl, when JSN went for 300-something yards, he did that against a backup running back named Micah Bernard. Utah had injuries at corner, and they let Micah Bernard play corner for the Rose Bowl. And he got toasted for 300 yards. And the whole world thought JSN is a good wide receiver. And I told everybody, no, he's not. He just beat a backup running back all game. Go back and watch the film. It's number 2, Micah Bernard. He's a running back. Okay? So Utah's been playing their players both ways, when necessary and when needed, when they have injuries. It's not like they're trying to match what Prime is doing or anything Colorado did. No, they've been doing this for years. Utah has let players go both ways when necessary for years, and they needed one this time, and Vaki's amazing. Well, shout out to you. This is not Prime induced or influenced at all. They've been doing it long before Coach Prime ever got to the FBS, and with mixed results. So I'm an MVP, and Rico does know. Dude is amazing. No, he doesn't always win, but his analysis is great. Still wins a lot. Thank you very much, RJ. The analysis is what people pay for. The picks don't matter. The TikTokers think the picks matter. The picks don't matter. My percentage on picks does not matter. Some people get excited about it, and one guy keeps asking me for my picks. What's your percentage on this? What's your percentage on this? It does not matter. The information matters, because the information is what helps the gamblers make their decisions. I got a professional gambler writing me on Twitter every day saying, Rico, you're the greatest mind. I just need your mind. I don't need your picks. I'm going to do the picks. I just need to know what you think about things. And then he applies it with his logic and his, what, quote unquote, betting strategy. There are guys that sit there and they make a bet and then they chill, right? And then there are other guys who will put in their bet before the game, and then during the game, they're making live bets the whole time. Live bets on the over, the under, this, that, the spread, all this stuff. They're constantly working it. It's insane. And at the end of the game, some of them can be up $1,600 and be down $200. Like, it doesn't matter. They have their own strategy, but they just need the information. Some of these teams they don't know really well. They didn't study them the way I do. So they love the information I provide. Doesn't matter who I pick. They don't all pick who I pick. There are many MVPs that go, yo, Rico, I can't go with you this time. I'm going this way. And I always write the same thing. Good luck, and I hope you hit, man. I hope you hit. I want everybody to win. Oregon, Utah is where game day will be at. Okay. Oregon, Utah. Yeah, they're always following Oregon. Oh, God. Trying to tune into watching every video and live. J Key 2.0, you're a beast, bro. Robert Martin's laughing. Thoughts on TCU going forward? Playing a backup quarterback, got the shit beat out of them this week. I have TCU in the preseason. I told everyone TCU would win 5 games. In the preseason, before the season ever started, I told everyone TCU is not who you think they are. They're not the returning national championship runner-ups. They're not a top 25 team. They should not be ranked. Go find my videos. Preseason top 25. You won't see TCU anywhere on there. You will see videos of me saying TCU is not good. They don't play well. They're not good. They're bound to win 5 games this year. I'm looking forward to them winning 5 games this year. That's how I feel about TCU moving forward. Mike Phillips check says, Nevada, money, 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 sweet call. There you go. Shout out to Mike for being an MVP for over a month. Okay, then do you think Virginia Tech can go bowling? Junior Knight, I do think they have a shot. They got to win some games they're not supposed to, but I do think they have a shot. They look really good. Kyron Drones is playing great. Nick Hester says, can Nebraska make a bowl this year? That's not an ACC question. Nebraska is not in the ACC. Please ask that question tomorrow when I discuss the Big Ten. Jeff Hafley completely off the hot seat for this season now. No, Evan Kramer, not a chance. If they lose to UConn, he gets fired before he gets home. If Boston College loses to UConn, you fire him now. You fire him now. I mean it. Can't lose to UConn 2 years in a row. That's impacting recruiting and image. Can't do it. Zach Merkley says, Francisco Mauigoa, number 51, linebacker, Miami, Florida, is balling out right now. So, if you don't know, Francisco was a starting linebacker at Washington State before he transferred to Miami. He only transferred to Miami to play with his younger brother, who was a starting 5-star offensive lineman for Miami. So you got a 5-star brother who's playing at Miami, and he shows up. Corey Flagg is the starting middle linebacker for Miami. Corey Flagg is a 2-year starter. And they don't care. The Mauigoa brothers are going to show up. Francisco Mauigoa shows up. Corey Flagg, no. Mauigoa is a baller, bro. He don't care about your 4 and 5 star. He don't care if you're from Florida, got Florida speed. He don't care about none of that. That kid is a player, man. He and his brother are players. Shout out to them. It's a great get by Miami in the transfer portal. You just went out and got one of them just stud Samoan players. Just a complete animal. It's like Mauigoa should be starting middle linebacker for Utah or something. You know what I mean? He's like one of those guys. Utah or USC or Oregon State. And he was at Washington State dominating. And now he's at Miami doing his thing. No Meter Green says, got it, Rico, my bad. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, man. Ryan Black says, I'm a Tennessee fan, so my comment about losing Gaulish and Milton sucking isn't me just bashing a random team. That's my team, and it's obvious Heupel needed Gaulish's input. It's not. It's just you got a quarterback that can't complete the passes that Hendon Hooker could. Remember, Hendon Hooker only threw 2 interceptions last year. Okay? Hendon Hooker only threw 2 interceptions last year. You couldn't possibly think Milton was going to have a better year. That's crazy. What coach is on the hottest seat right now in college football? Austin South. Well, Tom Allen is going to get fired. That's the Indiana head coach. He's done. I would say Jimbo Fisher's on a pretty hot seat, especially if he loses and it goes down like that. It's going to be a really hot seat. Dino Babers at Syracuse. Yep. Smoking hot. Get him out of here. Hot. Yep. I like New Mexico. Danny Gonzalez. Done. I think that one needs to go. I think he's in his 3rd year there. He needs to get fired. So Danny Babers. Andy Avalos at Boise. He better not lose like that again. They were up 30-10 in the 4th quarter with 6 minutes left, and they lose. Avalos might get fired. I think Campbell better fix himself at Iowa State, or else he'll be home soon. Dana Holgrenson at Houston. They're such a good team. They got team speed and everything, and I don't know, man. They don't win games when it matters. But those are some that are on the hot seat for me. There's obviously more. And then there's some teams who just aren't happy with what they got. Right? Tony Elliott at Virginia, he's on the hottest seat if you can imagine. I know they beat North Carolina. Still in a hot seat. Still in a hot seat. So, yeah. Hottest seat, though, Dino Babers, Tom Allen. Those two are just toast, bro. Toast. Okay? And let Minnesota keep losing. If people are real gamblers, they have success with MVP. If you never had success gambling, one subscription ain't fixing your problems. Correct. They can go lose with somebody else. It's no problem. I bought the MVP package but don't have access to the MVP perks anymore. Can you help me out? What's your name? Let me find out. You don't have any. Number one, your name's not in green. You don't have any videos. What's your name? And I can check the roster. You need a login. Maybe you're a minion. You're not a minion. Your name would be in green. So you don't appear on my channel whatsoever. Mr. Mike and Ike says, hopefully Georgia Tech will beat UNC. That will be great for recruiting. They're going to be fine, Mike. They're going to be fine even if they don't beat UNC. Their recruiting's on point. they're doing great. Like Aaron Philo's coming in. He's the quarterback over at where does he play at? Plays at man, what's the name of the school? Small school in Georgia. Oh. Same school as Vandergraff, Brock Vandergraff, Prince Avenue Christian. So they're bringing in Aaron Philo from Prince Avenue Christian. He will be the quarterback of the future at Georgia Tech. I believe so. He's a very good quarterback. And he's going to probably win another state title. Georgia Tech's doing it right, but they also recruit the transfer portal really well. Really well. I'm really impressed with what they did in the transfer portal this last season, and they'll do it again. Austin South says, what coordinator do you think is on the come up to land a big-time job? Before the season started, it doesn't even matter. What coordinator is on the come up to land a big-time job? Arbuckle, the Washington State offensive coordinator. I believe he's on the pace. I think Sean Lewis at Colorado is on pace to get big-time jobs. Those two really come to mind when it comes to coordinators. I also like Zach Kittley, but I don't know if he's not getting a big-time job. Zach Kittley, offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. He's a good coach. Something went wrong this year. I don't know if it was offense or defense, but something went wrong. So those three guys, those are three offensive minds that really matter to me. And then there's guys like G.J. Kinney that he is a head coach at Texas State, but he won't be there for long. He's going to get hired elsewhere. G.J. Kinney is very charismatic. He's young. He's energetic, and he's getting the most out of his teams. It's huge what G.J. Kinney's doing. So that's another one. He's a great offensive mind, but he's a head coach. He's not a coordinator. Yeah, we're still live, Terrence Thomas, because I started late. I started my live at 7 p.m. How do we feel about Miami's future on Cristobal? People say he is a great recruiter but horrible game manager. Well, that's the knock on anybody who doesn't succeed in all aspects of coaching, right? So when you're a head coach in college, you have to succeed on so many different echelons and so many different levels. But the big ones are, in the offseason, in the transfer portal, in recruiting, or on the field, or maybe in development. They talk about all these things. And the knock is Cristobal does less with more. He gets a lot of talented players in, but he doesn't win anything. Well, let's go back and look. He actually does win. He wins a fair amount of games because he has a more talented team most of the time. And that's a large part of coaching, is getting the best players on your team. These coaches in college are like the GMs in the NFL. They wear both hats, right? How many successful head coaches and head coach / GMs do you know? Right? Pete Carroll has a play in that. Mike Holmgren, do you remember when he did it? Bill Belichick. Like, very few head coaches are trusted to be the general manager. And we don't see it succeed hardly ever, right, in the NFL. They tried to do it with Urban Meyer. They try to do it with some guys where they give them player personnel approval. And sure, a head coach has input on what he wants and what he needs. But in the NFL, there's a huge gap between head coaches and GMs, and rightfully so. But in college, you got to do both jobs. And you want positive control of that as a head coach. These guys want that control. That's why they stay at the collegiate level. That's why they succeed at college and don't succeed in the NFL. And in the inverse, right? Some NFL guys come down, Herm Edwards, whoever, and then they try to do the player personnel part, but they don't do it quite right. And it shows. Let me give you an example. Scott Frost is a great what? What is Scott Frost great at? Because he couldn't recruit at Nebraska at all. Couldn't keep the players in state. Couldn't get anybody from Texas to go to Nebraska. Couldn't get all the players from Florida over. Couldn't do anything. And then he lost games, and he wasn't a good game manager. Right? So when you're not succeeding at both of those tasks, you look like a terrible coach. But wasn't he undefeated at UCF, and he could get all the players there at UCF? Because getting the players is a little more important than what you do during the games. I want to make that very clear. You cannot bridge the talent gap with coaching. The talent gap is the talent gap. If you don't have good enough players, you will lose 99% of the time. That is what college football is. College football is about talent versus talent. And then coaching can bridge the gap with off-season workouts, with, development, scheme, but they can only do so much. This is why K-State got blown out by Alabama last year in the bowl game. It's like Alabama showed up, and the talent gap was too big. Coaching staff at K-State's great. Chris Kleiman doing everything he can to develop his players, do all this stuff. But he had one dog. He had Deuce Vaughn. And he broke on a long run, and then we never saw it again. And it's because you don't have enough dogs on the field. You don't have enough talent. Coaching is great. Can't bridge that gap. There's some great coaches in the group of five. Their teams will not win no matter what they do to some of these Power 5 teams. And the coaches aren't very good in the game. They're much better at recruiting, though. They have a bigger budget. They have more notoriety. They can just go out and sign who they want to sign. And you're fighting tooth and nail. And that's why I always tell you guys, it's easier to recruit in the SEC. Easier to recruit in the SEC. Go 5-7 in the SEC. You'll still have a top 40 recruiting class. Doesn't matter who you are. A&M, Mississippi State. Doesn't matter. Go 5-7, miss a bowl game, and you'll still have a top 40 recruiting class because you're in the SEC. Off of name notoriety alone. Now, go to the Big 12, go 5-7, beat Iowa State, and let me know how your recruiting class looks. It's so much harder. You cannot even compare the two because you don't have the same notoriety. You don't get the same push from ESPN. You don't have the high school kids brainwashed thinking that's the best conference. It's so hard to recruit when you have a losing team and a losing record, but not in the SEC. It's not hard. You're going to get all the best players. They want to go there because that's all they've known their entire life. It's systemic indoctrination. So some coaches excel at recruiting and some don't. You'd rather you have a coach that excels at recruiting. You would. Let the players go out there and win it. Now, don't fuck it up. Don't be calling run plays with 10 seconds left on the clock. Don't be calling run plays when you could be taking knees to win the game. That's coaching. That's not game management. That's terrible. And you don't need a crystal ball to know that, right? You don't need a crystal ball to know that. Anyways. Okay, can you talk about conference realignment? Where's Colorado going next year, et cetera? Terrence Thomas, Colorado's in the Big 12. There's no debate about that. That's a fact. The only coach I can think of that was successful at both levels coaching is Pete Carroll. Yeah. Hey, Rico, sorry if this is a bad question, but what did happen to Syracuse recently? They have been in the middle of the ACC in recent years, but now it's not as good. Well, a lot of the conferences improved. Syracuse doesn't have a marquee running back right now. They've had a few really good ones. It's a down year for them. All they have to rely on is Garrett Schrader and no other real playmakers. And that's the reality of the situation. They're down this year. It's a down year. And it gets stagnant, right? The message gets stagnant. Like, what do you say after you've lost 5 in a row? As a coach, what do you say to the team to keep them motivated and engaged? Everything you've been preaching, right? First downs lead to touchdowns, attention to detail, teamwork, believe in each other, sacrifice. You can use all the cliches in the world. You ain't motivating these kids. They're not ready to go out there. For what? To get their face smashed again? Who did Syracuse beat? Wofford? As soon as they get into conference play, smash. Stop. Okay, anyways. I was at that game. K-State was just outmatched physically. I'm very pleased with how Georgia Tech is being rebuilt. This is very true, Mike and Ike. In-state recruiting and tailoring the game plan to players' strengths, hoping that in this decade we can finally beat our rival. Whew, that's a tough one. Keon Coleman, best receiver in the ACC right now. A knee-jerk reaction says yes. I like Jamari Thrash, but Keon Coleman's, there's no denying his talent when you look at him. I think Keon Coleman is a better pro prospect, but Jamari Thrash is a good college wide receiver. Like, he's very productive. Jamari Thrash is on Rico Knows wide receiver list. Don't care what anybody says. Don't care about 40s, combines, height and weight. I just know Jamari Thrash can play football. I've been saying it all off season. I won't stop now. So Jamari Thrash is nice. He's the bee's knees. Obviously, Keon Coleman is the real deal. Obviously. So, just something to think about. Hey, thanks for kicking it with me tonight, guys. Sorry I ran so late. Probably won't happen again. Probably go early for most of the week. Got games all week. And whenever we have game day, we try to start an hour earlier. So we might be starting the live streams at 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'll let you guys know if you watch the thumbnails and see when they're pending. Always go to the live tab. Always go to the live tab. Always go to the live tab. That's how you can find the show. Watch the content. Don't wait for your For You page. Don't do that nonsense. You'll never see it all. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a blessed night. Thank you for supporting the channel. And I won't have my outro music. Oh, yeah, I do. Just remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Appreciate all the support, guys. Peace.
I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they